I get people in my comments a lot that tell me I shouldn't give any goodwill to Republicans. I should assume that every Republican that talks to me, literally ever, is a misogynist and they're racist and they hate women and gay people and trans people and they're all bigots and they're all evil, okay? But I'm starting to see the light because for the first time ever, we have examples of not just Republican public, like the Gen Pub, but Republican officials condemning a domestic abuser. This is incredible, guys. Snaps around the class for this one. Yes, condemning violence. See, normally Republicans will see a domestic abuser and put them as Secretary of Defense, but in this instance, we want to deport them. Jennifer Vasquez, Garcia's wife, petitioned for an order of protection against him. She claimed he punched her, scratched her, and ripped off her shirt and bruised her. Absolutely evil, completely horrendous, treacherous, unworthy of due process. Not at all. It's such a horrendous crime that you can just accuse someone. He punched me. You don't need to show it in court. You don't need to go through any conviction, through any sentencing. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a violent criminal, illegal alien, and MS-13 gang member. He belongs behind bars and off American soil. Fuck him. I agree. As someone with really strong family values, I think it's important that people that are accused of domestic violence don't go through any due process, any type of court proceeding. I think that it's important that you just automatically assume that they're guilty because no woman would ever dare lie about domestic violence. No woman would ever preemptively go just to be safe when they're facing a spat. Never, ever. And so, Your Honor, I present the following evidence. Pete Hegseth's former sister-in-law alleges abuse against second wife in affidavit to Senate. The affidavit describes Hegseth's second treatment of his wife, Samantha, alleges repeat drunkenness and domestic situation where Hegseth had a safe word to indicate if she was in danger at home. That's absolutely despicable. She said Amanda in 2014 told her she once hid in a closet because she feared for her safety. Although she acknowledged that she did not personally witness physical or sexual abuse, normally in situations, we would have a process by which you could show evidence in court to a judge, to a selection of peers that are unbiased, that are approved by representatives on both sides. Normally, you would be able to show evidence to prove your case and make your argument. But, this administration has just showed that they really don't give a fuck about any of that. They don't value any of that. They don't care about any of that. An accusation is enough. And so, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, despite being safe, is still not coming back to America. Senator Chris Van Hollen went to El Salvador, was initially denied not once but twice from seeing Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Bukele initially offered to take them to the poolside to have their meeting, but the senator obviously saw that as inappropriate. But don't worry, he still planted fake margarita glasses and made sure to put a hat on Kilmar Abrego Garcia so that you couldn't tell that he shaved his head. This is disgustingly Soviet-level propaganda. And so even though the Salvadorian government has already shown proof of life, has already shown the body, even though there's already an active Supreme Court order for this administration to facilitate the return of this man because he was wrongfully deported due to a self-admitted administrative error. Despite all of that, they're trying to claim that he deserved it because he was a human trafficker. The evidence in question is him being pulled over with 8 other passengers and them all giving the same address. That's it. That was the proof of human trafficking. There was no investigation done. There was no court hearing. There was no jury trial. There was no sentencing, nothing. It was just the guy got pulled over once. There was 8 people in his car. They all gave the same address. Is that suspicious? Yeah. You know what else is suspicious? The Secretary of Defense having his sister-in-law sign an affidavit attesting to his domestic abuse charges and his alcoholism. That's also concerning. That's also suspicious. During the Senate hearings, I was of the mindset, I don't think that any of the Democratic senators should focus on the fact that Pete Hegseth has all of these domestic violence allegations against him and all of these sexual abuse allegations against him. I don't think Democrats should focus on that, because at the end of the day, that doesn't have anything to do with how they lead a government. That doesn't have anything to do with how they act in their position. And so it's a better argument to just claim that they're unqualified in their position than it is to just claim that they are a bad person or of bad morale. How fucking retarded was I to give the goodwill to the fucking MAGA? Like, how fucking stupid do I feel now seeing that they're just looking at this brown man that has an order of protection against him? I'm sorry, this is a little TMI, but do you know how many Latino families have suffered with domestic abuse? I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but it is in the culture, and it is kind of not that big of a deal. That sounds really bad. Not that it's not that big of a deal, but there's a reason why she didn't proceed with the case. There's a reason why she was still with him. There's a reason why she's the one that went to Senator Chris Van Helen and said, please save my husband. I love him. He's the father of my children. Please save him. There's a reason why she did all of that. She was the one that fucking sued Christine Noem. And so it's just absolutely hysterical. It's just insane. This is a DHS.gov website just claiming that he's a violent criminal, illegal alien because of this temporary protective order. Without due process, without a trial, without any course or process, just pointing of a finger, you're a criminal, get the fuck out of here, and we don't care what happens to you after that. It's a great precedent to set, really, in the freest country in America, freest country in the world.
Those facilities to be opened if new ones were going to be built?
I'd do something, we'd help them out, yeah. We help them. They're great facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam, I don't know what the laws are, we always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
Hey, bonus points if they're absolute dipshits that accidentally send war plans to editors-in-chief of newspapers. Am I right? Deport Pete Hegseth. Take a stand. Stick by it. Don't give any due process. Send the homegrown criminals away from here. They're fucking up the country. Jesus.